Trump kidnapped the Venezuelan president and his wife, and he's going to try them for drug charges. And here's what that really means. I'm going to give you 3 reasons on why this is a load of bullshit and how we need to see clearly what's really going on. You'll feel 1,000% better. You understand what's going on. So let's go. First of all, understand that Maduro is an asshole. He's done horrific things, so we're not making him some sort of victim here. However, Trump has illegally, without congressional approval, done this, just like George Bush Sr. did with Panama, with Noriega. It's been happening in countries for roughly 75 years that we take over countries and topple them. And there's 3 big reasons this is happening right now. The most obvious is Epstein. They're trying to hide up the pedophiles. They put out, oh, there's no files. There's 1,000 files. There's 1,000,000 files. We'll never find the files. Now there's 5 million files because they don't want you to find out what's going on, not only with his pedophilia that he's doing and messing with these teens, but who the other powerful people are who are billionaires and millionaires, and the whole society that protects it through the lawyers, through the financiers, and most importantly, the money. They don't want you to see the money. The money moving, not just for pedophilia, but money that's moving for laundering, money that's moving for drugs, guns, and God knows what else what. They don't want that. So they have a side thing. Remember in the middle of last year, on his birthday, we had 5 million people go out and say no kings. What did he do? I might bomb Iran. I bomb Iran? I believe I'll bomb Iran. And that took the attention away from no kings. He's doing the same thing right now, right in front of your face. He's trying to cover up for this Epstein. He's trying to cover up for Jack Smith, because Jack Smith was a bombshell on the first that dropped. The whole grand testimony, 9+ hours, and quite frankly, it was just very revealing how well he had him. Here's the interesting part about it, and I've mentioned this before. They're going to get him. They're going to get him between now and after his presidency. They're going to get him because they can reinsert when we get a Democratic president, when we get a Democratic person in. I believe it's going to be Kamala. So that's number one. They want to cover this up with this Venezuelan blah, blah, blah bullshit. Here's the number 2 thing. Money. Whenever things go down, follow the money. It's oil. It's billions, maybe even trillions of dollars in oil. And he was allied with China and Russia. Problem is, China and Russia ain't nowhere near there located. Russia sent some advisors, but there's nothing really going on. Here's the other thing you got to understand. Here's the way our CIA operations work. Before the troops got on the helicopters to go out and kidnap this guy and his wife, okay, I call it kidnap, not captured. Be very clear, they already had an idea who the leadership was going to be of Venezuela. Whoever rises up as the leadership of Venezuela is actually the person who is the leader. In fact, that's number 3. In other words, I got some bombshells coming. Here's the thing I want you to understand. So 1 is Epstein. 2 is oil and money to cover up. And by the way, it's going to be grifting. Trump, as you know, whoever rises as the person who gets the oil deals with Venezuela is going to be the person that paid off Trump the most. Through meme coins, through everything. They're going to be funneling money left and right. By the way, that very Epstein thing, that very Epstein network of lawyers and money, that right there is going to be a push, a connection to the money, the oil money. The same lawyers, same financiers is going to be involved in that, in the oil and what's going on. Look up the Panama Papers. That's the way they ended up doing this. They create a whole network behind the scenes, okay? Understand there's more going on than you think. So we got Epstein, we got oil, and we got what? We got these, the de facto president is going to be in the pocket of the United States and pumped up and prepped up by the CIA, okay? They're going to be right there. They're not going to let the Russians come in and bring in a supported president of their agenda. They're going to have somebody supporting the American agenda. We've always been about that smoke in general, but now it's a case to cover up his bullshit. It gets deeper. Let's drop more bombshells here. The next thing that's going to happen out of this is there's going to be deals that are made. And his next target is most likely going to be Colombia. He's going to be looking at Colombia. He's going to be looking at any nations, particularly in the Caribbean first, that he can target and take out and do the same thing. He's going to do this over and over. People keep asking me, will he go to jail for it? Now, he won't go to jail for that. But this does lead to the road of his impeachment and him getting kicked out. Why? Because the more he tries to cover up with the Epstein thing, the worse it gets for him. I was hoping that he would, in fact, redact the files because it means his downfall. But what's going to happen to Maduro? Maduro's going to get tried on some bullshit court. They're going to take him, human trial, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if his wife will get charged with it, but he's going to get tried. The people who are going to replace Maduro are going to be CIA approved, American approved. And the people who are going to come in and do oil deals are the ones who paid off Trump to get up under it. That's the game. See, it's ESGN he wants to ignore. Not just Epstein. Let me throw some more bombs on you. Epstein, subsidies. Notice he did this right when we're supposed to be getting ready to vote on subsidies through the House this coming week. Don't you think that's very interesting timing? Also, gerrymandering. Nobody's talked about that on the Republican side. Why? Because they're getting their asses served. And then no Kings. There's going to be another no Kings Day coming up. It comes down to ESGN again. Epstein, subsidies, gerrymandering, and no Kings that are involved with this. We're dealing with the biggest of psyops that are happening. And I'm going to tell you what's happening right now. There's going to be a lot of course, national condemnation, just like they did with Panama, but ain't shit going to happen. They ain't going to do nothing to him. The reason he's on the road to impeachment is because this is going to give more reason for Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, who were the authors of the Epstein Transparency Act, to act and be all over his ass. It's going to give more reason for Garcia and the Oversight Committee to get those actual files out and have people leak those files out, whether they're out or not, and find out what the is going on with this guy and all of these children and this whole society. It's coming out. It's happening, y'all. You can't hold shit back forever. Not in this case, especially not in the internet. What happens from here on is him targeting other countries. I believe, again, Colombia is going to be a big, big target, okay? Because his goal was to grab the guy. The goal wasn't to invade. I believe that he wanted to invade, but in all honesty, the way he did it this way, no troops most likely lost their lives. And that's the big thing. No troops losing lives. They have insiders there, too. They knew where that guy was. The fact that they could grab him that quick, it was an inside game. They had him out the door. And the people who gave him up were the people who were going to replace him. This is not going to be new. This is the same game that they're playing over and over that they've been doing for 75 years. So if you're upset by it, I want to talk to you for a moment. Let's go into some psychological detail because I only train in this type of stuff privately. There's some psychological elements in here. And so let's go into those psychological elements. The first thing I want you to understand is that Donald Trump has trained you to feel. Are you upset right now? Are you upset right now? Of course you are. He's trained you to feel. Trump does three things. He lies, he manipulates, and he brainwashes, even on the left. And on the left, he does it in a way that gets people upset. The most powerful thing Donald Trump has is not his billions of dollars. It's the space he rents in the minds of hundreds of millions of his enemies in America, as well as billions abroad. That's his power. That's his superpower. And his goal is to get into your head and fuck with you. And he wanted this to happen so he could fuck with you. Do you feel fuck with? Probably do, right? Yeah. Here's the thing I want you to really look at and immerse yourself in. What we're dealing with right now is a pedophile child who is diminished in his mind, who is diminished in body, who may be dead in 7 months, who is creating all this stuff so that nobody finds out while he's president, because if he's no longer president, then the states will come after him. How do we know? Well, they just started to pick up on something I've said for months, which is this is a society. So a lot of these redacted files have people who are lawyers, who are financiers, who are very top people, very top named people, not billionaires and millionaires, people who billionaires and millionaires pick up the phone on when they got a problem. They need something solved. And these names are in there, as well as our counterintelligence and the FBI. Bondi's in these files. You understand? Whole bunch of people in these files. And the reason I'm bringing this up so detailed is to tell you that we have to look. We have to just sit back and say for a minute, okay, let's keep our eyes on the ball. If this guy has designed us to feel, now think about this, think about this. What we have to do is design ourselves to think. If this person is doing this off of feeling, off of emotional reaction, what are we doing off of feeling? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because what I want you to understand is that this man is designed to mind fuck you. Now, how do you mind fuck this guy? How do you get away? By one, realizing every time he's opening his mouth, it's a lie. Every time he's misdirecting. And as far as the brainwashing part of the left, let's point out this. Here's the truth. In the last year, this man has lost tremendously in the lower court, 70%. He's even lost the Supreme Court because they're ruling against him right now, too. It's like too many issues, and the majority of the court cases he's losing is based on incompetence, not merit. Meaning that he didn't lose the case, he lost because they didn't know how to build one. Because of that factor, there's an ongoing thing that people wonder, well, why isn't somebody doing anything? They are. Trump just realized, and this is not to put you down, Trump realized that you're more ignorant than he is. That's why he tells you all these lies, and you say, can he get away with that? Instead of saying, he can't get away with that. There's a law against that. That's going to catch up to him because he's not getting away, he's getting a weight for it. That means he's going to get in trouble. Our legal system is coming. The one thing you should have learned from Jack Smith's testimony that happened, that they released on the 1st of this year, was this. They're coming back. They're back. Hey, listen, understand, they made him put down the evidence of the testimony. They didn't dismiss it. He didn't win in court. They made him put it down. It can come back. And between that time, Epstein's going to put him out of office. Here's the thing you got to know. This is the big connector, the bombshell. Do you know that all of these Epstein files, this material that's coming up, they may not know the names and the players, but they know the titles, and they understand that these titles are in New York. They're in New York. What does that mean? What's the connection? If he is kicked out over Epstein, incompetence, his health, whatever, and he's still alive, the states can come after him. Which states? What's the main state we're looking at? The same one that went after him and convicted him before. New York. They're coming for him. They're coming for his ass, and he knows it. They're coming for him. So he's creating all this drama, trying to put Venezuela. The Venezuelan, I captured him. And, oh, he's a bad, horrible person. And look at him, look at him, look at him. And he wants you to be mad. Are you mad? Are you angry? He wants you to be mad. Because if you're mad, you're paying attention to that stupid shit. And it's some stupid shit. You won't pay attention to any moves he makes to protect the Epsteins, any moves he makes to protect and secure his ownership of the oil of Venezuela and the deals he's striking with the grifting to get the deals for the oils in Venezuela, and you won't also look at who replaces this man and how they're connected to the CIA, possibly even the Epstein files. That's what this is about. This is a coup d'etat. This is about money. This is about grifting. This is about avoiding the Epstein files, avoiding what happened with Jack Smith coming out. They don't need that type of heat. They need you reacting, getting mad across the web, saying, I'm upset. I'm really mad. I'm really mad. And take that on. Because what Trump knows is that many Americans, and I'm not just talking about MAGA, I'm talking about the left too, are very ignorant to the history, operation, and laws of our government. They don't realize that eventually this man's going to get got very quickly. And his people are all going down. They don't realize that what he's doing not only is illegal, but there are people fighting back. Yes, there are people fighting back. The lowercase courts are fighting back. The Supreme Court's starting to turn on them. And on top of that, we have the hundreds of nonprofits who have been winning for the last 12 months. And we have, of course, the 20 plus Democratic governors and attorney generals. So if you keep talking all this stuff about nobody's doing nothing about it, listen, I've had to straighten out relatives, friends, everybody. I said, listen, there's proof. Everything that's come out of my mouth, pretty much, you can chat GPT or Google. It's facts. There are people who, this ain't just hope. This ain't just feel good woo woo. This is facts that this guy kidnapping this person is very transparent about his Epstein situation, about the oil situation, about the grifting situation, and Jack Smith situation, and about who's coming up next. You know what the major news doesn't mention? The CIA. You know what the major news doesn't mention? The fact that this is just like Panama. You know what the major news doesn't mention? The fact that whoever comes up as the leader is the one who struck the deal to get Maduro out so they could take over. That's what's happening. What we're looking at is a coup d'etat to avoid his coup de pedophile, his coup to oil, his coup to money, his coup to grifting, his coup to CIA, replacing the government, to kick out all the Russians. Now, it won't be surprising that the Russians will get out of Venezuela very quickly. The advisors, they're going to be given the door, or they're going to disappear. That's what's happening next, if they haven't already. They're going to be shown the door. And the new government is going to be a Venezuelan pro-American government. And if it's not, or if the deal wasn't struck, or if they turn around and change the deal, they're going to come for their ass too. It's on like Donkey Kong, y'all. And the only thing I would tell you to do and be ready and be aware of is this. One, there are secret investigations that have been happening for the last 12 months on all his activities. And two, the main thing that could get him out right now is Epstein. That's the biggest thing that could get him out the door. Epstein is coming. The list is coming. It's going to be out there. It may get shockingly shown out the way this gets played out. But what I'm telling you right now is that this is going to get played out. And he's going to lose out on this. And this is going to cost him his presidency. That's why he's trying to hold on as much as possible, telling everybody to hold the line and be aware of other things. So you're not looking at all of this craziness that he's doing, which he is doing, and it is craziness. It's happening. We're winning in a weird way. But at the same time, we're winning at the cost of lives, at the cost of, assets, at the cost of a variety of things. But we are winning, not because I say it's so, but because everything that just came out of my mouth in the last almost 20 minutes can be Google and can be Chat GPT. This guy is, every time he breaks out bombshells, and again, it's going to be Colombia next. It's going to be Colombia. They're going to kidnap that president. They might kidnap whoever. They're going to choose a country that most likely is the easiest to kidnap, very little blowback. They probably got a list right now. So whatever Colombia's got going on, they better hope they have some good allies. But listen, Venezuela had China and Russia as an ally. That don't matter. And it don't matter how many troops they got. Do you know that the president of Colombia had 100,000 troops waiting on the border of Venezuela in case America invaded? But America's become much more clever at this. And I didn't say Trump. I said America in general. We don't do wars anymore. We ended that with Afghanistan and Iraq. What we do is surgical strikes. And that's exactly what happened tonight in Venezuela. Surgical strikes. But this is all roads leading to Epstein oil, grifting, Jack Smith cover up, and at the same time, the new Presidente. You know, I don't know if all of y'all played that game Tropical. I love that. Good morning, Mr. Presidente. It's a cool game. You play a tropical dictator, and you can be allied with Russia or you can be allied with America. It's a really interesting tropical dictator thing. And that's what we're watching. That's what we're watching. He's playing a game, but don't fall for it. Don't put your feelings in it either. Watch my next video.